Hello guys, how you doing?
Yeah, well, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. Pleasure to meet you, man.
Yeah, good to meet, and I hope maybe we get a chance to meet one day in the flesh, and
Yeah,
I
of
can show
course.
you the new place, the stadium, and the stuff we're planning, which will be very cool.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. Hopefully, I spoke to Essen as well to see, like, whenever obviously we're allowed as well, because I don't know like how it is with all this stuff right now. But
Yeah.
I'm sure, man, it'll be so cool to see.
So yeah, I'm curious really about how you first noticed Forest Green and what it was that caught your eye.
Well, I played the friendly 6, 7 years ago against Forest Green Rovers in pre-season. That was the first time that I came across. But obviously back then, the only thing, I mean, I had only been in the UK for a couple of years, so the only thing I knew about them is like that they were really far from London, and that was a that was a long coach journey. And also, I was just getting into like training with the first team and stuff. So I always thought that, first I wanted to be the player. I wanted to be cemented in the first team. I wanted to, before I was able to, I was still being myself, but before I was able to show everyone who Hector Bellerin was, and like I could actually talk about the things that I cared about and stuff. And then obviously I started seeing a lot of stuff in the media, and I remember like, yo, I played against these guys, and even at the time when I started hearing things, I wasn't even vegan then, or I wasn't using my platform as I am today. And with when I went vegan myself, and I started like doing more stuff for the environment, and I was reading all these things. I was like, yo, I wanna meet these guys. I wanna I wanna help them if I can. Like this is so good, not just for the environment, etc., but for football. It's such a good example that there's so many people that feel that there is no solution for the problems that we have today. But you have a team playing in one of the top 4 leagues in England, and they have to travel a lot. They have to eat healthy. They have to like do all these things. They have to keep the ground like looking clean at all times, and they're basically carbon neutral. And like, how is this possible? And then I started researching more into the subject, and it got me to being here today. And obviously, like I told you before, like I'm so excited to be able to be a part of this family, and like help with like whatever I can, because I feel as we were talking earlier, it's all about like leading by example, right? And I feel like as humans, we just need to like help the people that are changing the world for the better. And obviously, if we can see Forest Green in the Prem in a few years, then then even better for everyone.
Yeah. Well, our goal is to get to the championship. We're kind of drawing the line there for now, which is a big jump and stuff.
That's fine. I always say, look for the stars, Then you'll get somewhere in between, but at least
Yeah. We reckon we can do the championship. We're pretty sure of that. But I mean, for me, it's great to have you with us, because football has been a really great platform for an eco message. We didn't start to do this with a plan at Forest Green. It just happened. It was a rescue mission, and then it was like, oh, we're running a football club. We've got to do it with the way we believe in things. And having you with us just brings football credibility to what we're doing, because our fans are really bought into what we're doing. In the early days, it was a challenge. It was like, why are you doing this in football? Football's football, leave it alone. And we're like, no, football has to change, And so, to have you with us, that brings some great credibility to our message. So we're really happy for that. And it's great to see players at the Premier level as well, embracing these eco issues. We're just really thrilled about that as well. So
for sure, man. Like, everyone loves football, in it. So I mean, there's no better industry kind of to like get something like that started, to be fair.
Yeah, I think you're right. How long have you been vegan?
I've been vegan now for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I started because, to be fair, I just wanted to try. I just wanted to like kind of detox my body, because I had always been like a very big meat eater, especially back in Spain. I only really started eating vegetables when I was in London. Before that, I had not even tried them. And I just wanted to kind of like detox, and I was like, I'm gonna try for 3 weeks, and then hopefully maybe I'll just start seeing meat more as like a treat rather than just something that you eat every day. But I enjoyed it so much, and I felt so much better than, you know, it just escalated like snowballed, and here we are today.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I was going to ask you if you noticed a difference on the pitch, but presumably you did feel more energetic, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that the first thing that I really noticed was I have had like loads of injuries between 16 and 19 on my ankles, and like I used to roll them all the time, and I just felt like they were really weak, and after games it used to get really inflamed. And literally like a month after started being vegan, I was noticing like a massive difference. Like I used to play with strapping on my ankles all the time. Now I don't even need to. And yeah, that was one of the first things that I was like, whether this is placebo or not, I don't really know, but it really is helping in that sense. And obviously in the Premier League, like playing 2-3 games a week, I was noticing like my overall, you know, tiredness of my body was really, you know, I was feeling more energetic quicker. So yeah, I think those were like the two main things that were like, I'm probably onto something here, you know, and probably this is really, really helping. What about you? How long?
Well, about 40 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time. I still play football, and I don't get injured, which is great. I mean, I think lack of soft tissue injury is one of the big things people say about a vegan diet.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not a professional footballer or anything like it, but you know, I still play football. I'm like 59, and I don't get soft tissue injuries. You know, and I feel good. I play twice a week, and you know. And we have our own little example as well. Forest Green, when we got promoted into League Two, we were at Wembley. We played Tranmere, and we played 50 games or so in the season. You know, long season. We had no soft tissue injuries in the squad at all, and I think that's quite exceptional. And our opponents, Tranmere, had 6 or 7, and that makes a big difference.
Of course, no. Like those little margins in those kind of games, they do really, really matter. And I imagine it wasn't as easy as it is today, 40 years ago, to have a vegan diet. Like, you know, I feel like today you even have like all those meat substitutes or like, you know, so many vegan restaurants and stuff. Back in the day, it must have been like hardcore.
No, you're right. I mean, just to be vegetarian back in the day was hard.
Yeah.
And actually, culturally, it was a challenge as well, because if you went somewhere and said, oh, look, I don't eat meat, you know, often people would get offended, like you were challenging their way of life and their thoughts and beliefs and stuff, you know. You don't get that now. It's become quite normal.
Yeah. I think somehow there's still like a little bit of stigma, especially with like men and football and like, you know, like a whole macho culture and all this stuff. But no, obviously I feel people are realizing, and there's many more motives why people are doing it. Before, I think it was always like more environmental as well. And now it's more like people are realizing the health benefits of it. So, you know,
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it's cool that more people are like jumping into it as well.
Yeah, it started for me. It was about animals. As a kid, I felt it was wrong to eat animals, and then the climate came along in, I think, the early '90s. I became aware of climate change and the big causes of it, and then the meat industry being one of the biggest. And somewhere in that same decade, all this scientific evidence started to come out about the impact on human health as well. So I think now there's like 3 big reasons that people choose from. It's about animals, it's about the climate, or it's about personal health. You know, and I don't care what people choose. It's,
sure.
you know, it's just a good thing to do.
Yeah, I think also like for me, like kind of starting, not gonna lie, it was more like this more selfish reason. Is it was more like for my health. But then kind of when I started digging more into it, I also became more conscious and more like, you know, like I wouldn't buy leather anymore, and like with animal welfare and stuff. There were things that maybe I didn't care so much at the beginning, but once I started being vegan, and I started, probably also because of like the influence of like you meet more people that are vegan when you're in that circle, so like you get more information and stuff, and it kind of all like becomes like a whole consciousness of the whole problem. So, you know, you become like affected by all those 3 things all of a sudden, you know.
Yeah, I see that. It's like you take a step down the road, don't you? It's the beginning of a journey. It's not the end, and it makes you more aware. And I also think it's like a positive feedback loop as well. You do something good, you think about something else, you see something else you can do, and you get snowballing along. And this is one of the reasons we say, you know, we don't care why somebody goes vegan. That doesn't matter. We don't even care if it's 1 day a week. I think that's a great thing. You know, just get started, and you know, because we've all just got to start on down the road.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I feel, you know, I think a lot of the stigma around veganism is because a lot of people, especially in the past, have tried to shove it down people's throats in a way. And I feel now there's more like a leading by example kind of mentality about it. I mean, my mom went crazy when I told her I went vegan, because she knew that I used to only eat meat. She was like, "You don't like vegetables? How are you gonna do that?" You know. And obviously she's from Spain, and like a culture, there's like a big meat eating culture. And when I was injured with my ACL, I spent 3 months in Spain, and we basically ate vegan every day. And now my mom, she doesn't eat meat at all. Like maybe when she goes to restaurants or like something, or if she, you know, like fresh fish maybe, but you know, it was more I never told her, "Mom, you should go vegan." She just like started trying. She was like, "Wow, this is really making me feel better." And now she's just like, she's like the biggest activist in the world. Like around her circle, she's always like inviting people for vegan food and stuff. And it's so cool that, as you say, like people are just trying like different ways of like getting into it, whether that is like reducing meat intake or like do one vegan day. And yeah, I think more people getting on it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's a brilliant thing to hear, actually, and it's our experience as well, you know, because people feel the difference. They do talk about it, they do encourage other people, and you're right, we shouldn't be about preaching. We bumped into this, of course, at our club when we took meat off the menu for our fans. You know, we got the anger, you know, where you're telling us what we can't eat and stuff, and we explained why we were doing it and said, look, it's we're just making a choice of what we put on the menu, and you know, come and try something different. And they did, you know, loads of our fans have gone vegetarian and vegan just because of what they tried on a match day. And some of our players have taken their families vegan as a result of how they feel as well. But you're right, once people try, that's just the beginning.
Yeah, how is it with the I'm always interested, how was it with the players, like the first time that you kind of told them like, okay, we're just going fully vegan? Or like when players sign with the club, like is it like something that they have in mind always when they're about to sign?
Yeah, I would say right now, that's what we're known for. And so when players sign, they know what they're coming for. And I think it's more of an attraction than a repulsion thing. You know, people, players, you know, want to sign for us. Being vegan is also part of being a really progressive football club at our level. You know, we're quite modern, forward looking into medical science and that kind of stuff, and data analysis, you know, for example. So we don't find it a problem for recruitment, probably the opposite. You know, ambitious players want to join us. But back in the day, 10 years ago, it started with red meat. And I'd only rescued the club, I don't know, maybe a couple of days. And I was at the club and I saw we were serving a beef lasagna to our players. And I was like, oh my God. Firstly, I can't be part of the meat trade. But secondly, this is not what athletes eat, you know. So we just had that conversation with our players and said, you know, if you really want to perform to your best, you shouldn't be eating red meat. So we just took that first. So it was like a step. And then over the next couple of years, we took away white meat, we took away fish, and then we took away meat and dairy. So it took probably 3 seasons to go vegan. And for the players, it was always about performance. And for our fans, we explained it was about the environment as well as human health and animal rights if they cared about that. And you're right in what you said earlier. It's really important not to preach. We didn't do that. We just said, look, this is what we believe in. This is the food that we're going to offer. And you don't have to eat it. You can bring your own. We don't mind. And we just let people give it a go, and they do, and they love it.
That's so good. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, nice one. Well, it's great to have you kind of, you know, with us at the club as a shareholder. I mean that's just brilliant, and great to have your interest in what we're doing. I mean, we're super excited about that.
I mean, I'm so excited, man. I feel like as I started to, you know, use my platform, and also you know, I was realizing that I have the opportunity to help not just like foundations or like charities and stuff like that, but also I feel like if you want to push society forward, like when there's like, call it startups or call it people doing something different that you know, is helping the environment, or it's just like doing something so challenging, for me, I want to be the first one to like help you know, these people or these entities to move forward. So for me, I mean, I was so so excited the first time I thought about like all the projects that Forest Green Rovers are doing together, and like even yourself with like ecotricity and all this stuff. So, but I'm now trying to like all the money that I invest or that that I always use for things that I'm passionate about, but also I'm helping pushing them forwards into like where hopefully the whole industry needs to be in the future, whether that is like with electric cars or like with clothes. You know, there's a lot of startups now that, for example, are making clothes out of like orange peel, you know, and I'm making fabrics like that. So all these things are so exciting, and they're helping two problems at once: the problem of waste and the problem of where our clothes come from. So you know, that's kind of Forest Green Rovers is kind of like the same example. You know, is in an industry that is, you know, so polluting as it is right now, and really sometimes even like saying like, oh, you know, we don't have the resources to do this, so we shouldn't do it. But there's actually like a club that is, you know, doing the same thing that they're doing, but they're doing it in the right way with a no carbon footprint, and, you know, going vegan, and the projects of the future, like the stadium. I don't know. I think it's just great. So I wanna be involved, and I wanna be able to help. Like obviously people like you guys that you know, are doing something so like challenging and like mind blowing, really.
Yeah, brilliant. I love that. You know, all the stuff you're describing, I mean, I think it's great. And we kind of tend to express it in terms of a green industrial revolution that we need to have. You know, we need businesses like the ones you're talking about that use different materials to do the same things. You know, we often talk about energy, transport, and food as the big three areas of life that we have to change, but we don't have to give energy up. We just have to make it from renewables, and we don't have to give up traveling. We just have to go electric, and we don't have to give up eating. We just have to stop eating animals. You know, it's about swapping one thing for another. I see it as a kind of interactive thing, because if people start asking for better, different things like plant-based food, for example, companies see that, especially smaller companies will adapt first, and they'll start to make it. And so it's kind of two-way thing. Companies have to think that people want it, and people have to show them that they want it to kind of make the change. Electric planes are coming, by the way.
I saw that,
yeah. They're in the skies now, but Boeing and Airbus say 10 years from now, you'll be able to fly 300 miles in a 260 passenger airplane. So all around Europe would be no problem.
Oh, that'd be decent. I feel like the only thing that worries me about this stuff is like, I mean, I get like all the research and all this stuff and development takes obviously so many years, like clearly now with the diamond stuff, you know, it's a 10-year project. But, you know, I feel like a lot of people are putting all this deadlines, like, oh, by 2030, by 2040, by 2050. And I'm like, you know, the problem is going to be here before that. You know, I feel like people are not realizing how like climate is changing constantly, you know, like the extreme climates, etc. And like we're thinking about 2050 as if it's, you know, we're gonna be fine if we change it then. No, like all these things have to happen way before that if we don't want to get like to something where it's like not even reversible anymore, you know.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we've got to act urgently in the next 10 years. That's a fact. And, you know, that's 2030. That's the target that we set in a lot of the things that we try to do. But I think 2050 is just easy for politicians to say, yeah, we're going to do great things, but in 30 years,
you
know, it's far enough over there that they don't have to deliver it, you know, because they won't be here in power.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It's a pleasure. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, good luck. Cheers.